What's up, Gamecock fans? That's right. Subject of the day: complete failure. South Carolina has not been a complete failure this year. I know we were upset about the Vandy game. We wiped it away on Wednesday. Did we have too much expectation for this team? Did we drink the Kool-Aid, put on our garnet glasses, and not take a realistic view of this football team? We know the talent that was on there, but how long was it going to take for our talent to gel together? And that's the question I think we all got to ask ourselves. We knew Lenoris was going to be Lenoris. Now, yes, we've been upset about the play calling so far this season, and just routine things that have gone wrong in every football game where we look at and say, man, why can't we get the simple stuff right? And when you can't get the simple stuff right, it makes you start looking at coaching, communication issues we've heard about, just the little things that you think this is simple. Why does it keep continuously, week after week, being a problem? So that's what I want to talk about. It's not been a complete failure this year, right? It's just not been what we expected or what we wanted as a football program. We came in with a lot of hype, finished the year last year with, basically 6 wins in a row, and then ended up losing against Illinois in the bowl game. And Beamer's not been that great in bowl games, and we've talked about the Beamer's here lately has not been that great coming off of rest. However you want to look at that, whether that's coming out of a bye week or, just that type of thing. It's almost like our team comes out not ready to play when we've had a break, whether that's even losing the game or just struggling during the game. So is that something we got to fix coming out of bye week? Because we know we got Missouri this week, and there's a lot of things that's been said about Missouri. Missouri's a good, solid football team. We have to go beat them. They're not going to give us the game. So you got to go out there and you got to win. And we talked about some keys to how South Carolina can win this football game. Some of the captain obvious ones, of course, is we got to block better. We need to communicate better. We need to cut down on the bonehead mistakes. If anything, we should be handing out, instead of footballs last week, I should have handed out bone helmet awards, just because some of the things we've done, you think is, man, you're at college. These guys have experience. They've played. Why do these mistakes continue? Is it all on coaches? Is it a combination of coaches and players? Is there a combination of maybe the calls themselves too complicated, too verbal? We talk about verbiage and play calls, and if you're trying to, we remember the Satterfield days where the play call was just confusing. Is it that? There's a lot of questions we ask, but we don't really have answers to because we're not inside the building to understand. We're not at practice to really see what's going on. If we're going to beat Missouri this week, I think we have to run the ball. We have to control the ball. Look for Faison to be a big part of it. Now, we heard Oscar was a little dinged up last week. Maybe that's why that kind of cut in to his playing time, but throw the ball to Oscar out of the backfield. He's a good receiver. He gets you good solid yards. He can break a few tackles and get a few extra yards after catch. And then just play control passing if you have to. You take your shots over the top. But you got to get these defenses to spread out a little more. Right now, they look at our film and they say, oh, first down, they run it up the middle. Second down, they try to run it up the middle. It's like, I don't know. After you get past the scripted plays, and this has been beat to death about getting in the flow of calling game plays, because your yardage just changes, your situation changes. You got to quit shooting yourself in the foot on first downs. You got to do much, much better on third downs. And South Carolina has just struggled with it all, every bit of it. So can they clean it all up this week? Can they go out in Missouri and get the victory? You got the talent on the football team to do it. You just got to go out and execute, right? So, I mean, at least if you go out there, we know everybody brings up, well, South Carolina was 3-3 last year before they kind of turned it around. But you look at the names that we lost to, like Ole Miss and Alabama, and LSU, it's a little different feel when that 3-3 when you're talking about losing to Vanderbilt and then losing to Missouri. And nothing against them, they got good football teams. Missouri's one of the winningest programs the last few years in the SEC and college football. So you got to go out and you got to beat them. You got to stop their running backs. They got two of them that are pretty good. So you're going to have to make a business decision on taking these guys on. There was some talk about Cisse kind of went high on a guy last week. The guy got under him a little bit. It didn't look good, and he gained extra 4 yards and a first down. Those type of things people are going to point out now. They just got their microscope out, and they're going to watch every play, and they're going to point out every mistake that is made. Look, we're not scoring on every drive. There's no need to get frustrated if we don't get a touchdown every time we touch the football. That's just not football, and that's not realistic football either. But let's just say this. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Was our expectations realistic for this football team? Now, I've talked about my thoughts on the team. I had us somewhere around that 9-3 mark, same as last year, possibly 8-4. Some of the year tougher games are still on the road. You got LSU, you got to travel to them. You had them at home last year. You're having to travel to Missouri. You got to travel to Ole Miss. Now, we really don't know what Ole Miss is just yet. I don't even think we really know what Missouri is. LSU's been struggling just as much as we have offensively. Are they really any good? And some of these teams you're not going to know about, because when I was looking through the SEC games this week, it's still kind of hard to define some of these teams that we have to play. And some of them don't have good games this week. So can you really define them even after this week? Are they going to be any better? Hard to say, man. But, I mean, I guess I need to put myself in check, too. Very frustrated after Vanderbilt lost last week, because in where I thought this team was going to be, I had that as a win. And I'm sure the vast majority of Gamecock fans thought that was a win. And now that you don't have that win, it's more disappointing on the season, because you know what's coming down the schedule. So it's not a complete failure. Maybe it's a failure on the fan side too, that our expectations was just too high. We drank the Kool-Aid. Everybody was telling us about the talent. Everybody that got to see practice, got to see the spring game. Everybody, this team has got this team has got that. And then we get on the field and it's not like what we're seeing is not matching up with what we're told. So then the frustration sets in. The play calling has been in question. But, man, we've questioned that since Beamer's got here with these NFL coordinators. And I think South Carolina fans want to see, remember the excitement of scoring the 63 points against Tennessee or whatever? That's what brings excitement to football games. And really at home, that's what gets Willie B to rocking, man. When you're scoring and making plays and doing all the things you need to do to keep the excitement in the building. South Carolina fans, and I think most fans in general, don't care for these old school style offenses where you win 20-17. People want you to score, and actually you need to be scoring in the low 30s to win football games in college football. We all know that, but we look around the league and we see Tennessee scoring a lot, and all of a sudden Georgia broke out against Tennessee and scored a bunch of points last week. You see Arkansas out there playing some exciting football, running around, throwing the ball everywhere. And I think that's what South Carolina fans look for. And for some reason we're not getting that, and we haven't gotten that here, sporadic. But it's always we depend on our defense to win football games for us. And then they get tired. They're on the field too long. What will Missouri try to throw? They're going to try to do the same thing. They're going to try to wear our defensive line down by making them chase their running backs. And that wide zone running scheme that they use, that's how they will attack Dylan Stewart too. They're going to try to get him chasing and make him tired. That's what they're going to do. They're not coming out here with a big sledgehammer trying to run up through the middle of the big boys that we got in the middle. Eli knows that. He'll do it for some dirty yards just to keep us honest from sinking down in that middle, but that's about the time he's going to cook you. So we got to be careful. We got to use a lot of discipline when playing Missouri, but we've always struggled with that. I mean, I remember back even in the Spurrier days, when Kentucky and their Wildcat shit, man, they just kept hammering that thing, and we couldn't figure. I remember how frustrated I was that they just kept wildcatting us to death, and we could not figure out how to stop it. It's like, damn, they're doing it every play. You see, there's no quarterback in there. You know it's going to the running back, and he's going to run to the middle, and we can't stop it. Why? They blocked it. They practiced it over and over and over and got their blocking right on it. And no matter who we had or what we did, what we changed, just couldn't stop it. And it was so frustrating to watch. You just repeatedly see it happening. And I think that's the frustration with South Carolina fans right now. That this year we've not been consistent enough on offense, so we just keep waiting on that moment. We're waiting on that moment to happen where South Carolina breaks out offensively, but it's really not in the DNA of this football team. Last year, a lot of turnovers and that type of stuff on defense gave us short fields. We scored. Jamie Bradford brought up a good point, and I didn't even think about it. South Carolina got across the 50-yard line and into Vanderbilt territory 7 out of 10 drives last week. This was the same shit that happened to us last year. If you think back, like Alabama game and that stuff, we could get into the other team's territory, and then we started backing ourselves out with mental mistakes, turnovers. That type of stuff happened to us last year, and it's just been the way this football team has been. But our defense played so much better last year that we could overcome these things. This defense is not there yet. And having Judge Collier out, big issue. Not having Nick Eamon-Warrish, somebody's got to get physical in that safety room. And I'm telling you, I don't care. Put Busey in and put DQ on the bench if you have to. But I saw DQ was not impressive last week. He just got juked. He's been around long enough not to get juked. I'm telling y'all right now, what I saw, it looked lazy. When I watched the Alabama-Florida State game and how Alabama's defense looked fairly lazy, our defense did too. Now, you could say maybe they were worn out and tired in the second half. It did kind of come across lazy, but it looked lazy to me, and maybe it was tired. Maybe it was they dropped their shoulders after Lenoris got hurt. But that's when your team's really got to come together and get over the top. And someone else has to decide that, hey, our leader's down, but we're going to step up and take over and work this game. And that's usually what happens. When a leader goes down, everyone around steps up. And there was a lot of mistakes made. But I think we have Lenoris back tomorrow. Do we change anything on offense? The anxiety, the anxiousness, I think all Gamecock fans want to see. Are we going to see something different? Are we going to have the ability to execute better against Missouri? Oh, and some more news before we go too far. I'm going to make some picks today. Y'all can hang out with me on the video if you want to. If you don't like my picks and just like me talking about Gamecock football, well, I'm going to pick them too. And I might double down my bet. I want to see how that line goes in tomorrow. I may even live bet that thing during the football game. I'm not sure yet. But I think the fans are just so frustrated. It's so head-scratching us right now on what this team is. Inability to run the ball, inability to stay consistent on the passing. What do we have to do? Do we run Lenoris more? Do we put him in more option plays where he gets to make a decision on whether he's going to pitch it or hand it off or throw it or run it himself? Something that puts a defense on their heels to try to figure out what he's going to do with the football. Especially, out on the edges. So, I don't know. We'll see tomorrow. I think it's very frustrating for people. But after the game tomorrow night, because the video hit so good with my reaction last Saturday night, I want y'all's reaction to the game. Win, lose, whatever happens during the football game at 11 o'clock. Or I'm going to say if I'm not on at 11, that means the game's still going on. But immediately after the game, I'm going to come in and I'm going to do a live show. And I want to read y'all's comments. No matter what happens, if you're mad, you're frustrated, just be careful with the language. I do ask that. But if you're mad, frustrated, if we lose, if we win and you're happy and you're excited and you want to talk about the things that you saw that we improved on, bring those into the comment section. Right now it's scheduled for 11 o'clock tomorrow night. But if the game goes later than that, then it'll be immediately after the game is over with, unless we're just getting completely blown out. And I'm gonna start it early, and y'all can come in here and raise hell while we're getting blown out. Or if we're blowing them out, we might start early and come in here and do some cheering ourselves. But anyway, let's do some picks against the spread this week. What do y'all think? We got Arkansas at Memphis. Who scheduled Arkansas going to Memphis? That's a dangerous game this time of year for Arkansas. Taylor Green's been on fire. Is this a week that he makes mistakes? Sometimes when you're doing too good, you start making mistakes. Is this a week where he makes mistakes? Over and under 60.5. Memphis plus 7.5, or money line plus 225. I don't know if Memphis can win this football game, but I do think I took Memphis to cover. So I am going to take the plus 7.5 for Memphis. Let's go Memphis here. Not really a lot of great games this week. This game will teach us some stuff about Arkansas. Arkansas not on South Carolina's schedule, so it doesn't matter. Tennessee playing something called a UAB, minus 38.5. Hold up. Let's pull this up. Let's see who Tennessee plays next week. Because this is when I decide they'll start pulling guys out of games because they don't want injuries with their next SEC football game. So Tennessee, where's fine? Tennessee UAB, they play at Mississippi State. SEC football game. How far ahead do they get ahead of UAB before they start pulling the starters? Tennessee's second team is probably a hell of a lot better than UAB. So I don't think they quit scoring. So I'm going to go Vols. I'm going to give... Uh-oh, wrong. I got to do the minus, don't I? If I'm giving it. Vols minus 38.5. They're going to want to come out and score. They're trying to get their stuff back together after that. You know, that's one of those heartbreaking, put yourself out on the field loss they had to Georgia last week, and had so many opportunities to win that football game. I don't want to hear Tennessee fans blaming a kicker. South Carolina fans do that too, and then you look back, oh, well, shit, it was a 50-yard kick. Yeah, I know we get used to seeing some of these kickers kicking 55 yards, almost 60-yard field goals anymore, but that's not on the regular. Auburn, plus 6.5, traveling out to Oklahoma. Oklahoma, looking at their injury report, boy, that thing's riddled. They look like a MASH unit. Right here, I think I'm going to rock with Auburn going in there getting a plus 6.5. So let's go plus. Even though Auburn screwed me last week, the Auburn Tigers plus 6.5. We're going to rock with Auburn. I do think Oklahoma may win this game, but I think it's going to be closer than that. I don't know. This might be a field goal game too. But I got to see what Oklahoma's got on the offensive line. Auburn's going to try to heat him up. This may be a defining moment for Mateer, whether we know he's real or not real. Tulane, John Summerall, like going at Ole Miss. Ole Miss giving up 11.5 to Tulane, over under 61.5. You know what? I'm going with Tulane plus 11.5. Y'all might tell me I'm crazy. I like points this week. I'll tell you why. Because a lot of these teams have SEC games next week. Ole Miss travels to LSU. I think, no, they get LSU at home. So, but they got LSU coming next week. Do you take any chances getting anybody hurt versus Tulane? If you get a comfortable lead, Tulane get a late score. Oregon burnt me with that, giving up a touchdown to Northwestern last week. They were covered until that late game touchdown. Northern Illinois, Mississippi State, minus 21.5. I'm rocking with. We remember NIU, right? Beating Notre Dame ain't happening this time. We're going with the Cowbells, minus 28.5. 21.5. Cowbells. Let's go Cowbells. I'm writing Cowbells too. Mississippi State fans, get mad if you want. I don't care. Then you got South Carolina and Missouri. Right now it's back up to, it was 10. Then it dropped to 9.5. According to DraftKings, it's back up to 10. been kind of moving right around there. I expected to settle with that. I'm going to take the Gamecocks plus 10. Not saying Missouri don't win the game, but I think this game is closer than a lot of people think it's going to be. A lot of people expect South Carolina to go out there and get blown out. I just don't think that's happening. So I'm going Gamecocks plus 10. South Carolina's not been good against the spread this year, yo. 1-2, 1-2. Florida at Miami. Is this a game where Florida quits? We thought that last year, and then they didn't quit. They come back and fought hard. This ain't a game Florida's going to quit, y'all. This is a rival game. They don't like those fan base. Those teams don't like each other. The Gators versus Miami. I just think Miami's got too much firepower. I think that defense with Ruben Bain and those guys, they're going to bring the heat on Lagway. He's going to make mistakes again. So I'm rocking Miami minus 7.5. Canes. Minus 7.5. Sam Houston at Texas 39.5. Who did Texas play next week? Let's check this out. After Sam Houston, they're off, so it ain't really going to matter. They're going to play. They're going to try to get Arch Manning, who hasn't looked very good, in rhythm in this football game. They're running just too much firepower at running back for Texas, too much size. They're going to over-physical Sam Houston. They'll wear that little team out by the end of the half. So I'm going to give up almost 40 points. Y'all believe that or not? Texas minus 39.5. All right, who we missing here? Georgia State at Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt coming off the big win. Do they get the big head? Let this little Georgia State team get in here and score some points against them. I don't think Vanderbilt can score like a massive amount of points without other teams making mistakes. And I think Georgia State's scrappy. I'm taking Georgia State with plus the 27.5. Plus, they got a good damn running back over there at Georgia State, but I think they can stay scrappy. I think they can stay in this one. I just do. Anyway, that's kind of my picks. Like I said, guys, I appreciate everyone that comes and hangs out. Y'all making the little channel grow like crazy, man. Go like crazy. Good views on the videos, good comments on all the videos. I'm going to start putting together some videos where I comment on the comments. Positive. For the most part, everything's been positive as far as my comment section. Haven't had any real trolls in there talking a lot of trash, but the channel ain't got big enough yet, and I know that's coming. But hey, what? Bring it on. I'm old school, baby. I ain't scared. But please don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, don't forget 11 o'clock immediately after the game tomorrow night, I will do a live post-game show. Win or lose, all comments welcome. I just said please be careful. You know, I wasn't very careful with my language last week. Just be mindful a little bit about the language. This is a restricted channel, and you're 18 or older got to be in here, so it don't have to be perfect. But anyway, love all y'all guys. Have a wonderful rest of your Friday afternoon. Peace.